Welcome to Sketchup for Power, Episode 4, Power Tools. We're going to give a rundown of the toolbars and the tray and the most effective tools. Picking up where we left off, let's finish up on the large tool set. At the very top, you have your basic selection tool, delete tool. We have make components, we'll get to that later. We have paint bucket for materials. Next category is the basic shape tools, lines, rectangles, and circles. Below that we have the modification tools. Move, copy, rotate, the push and pull to make things 3D. We also have scale, offset, and follow me, which we'll get into in future episodes. Below that we have the annotation tools, your tape measure, use it all the time. We really don't get into the text and tags here. We save that for the sister program layout. Once in a while I'll use this to mess with some axes. Below that we have the navigation category tools. They're not in any other toolbar. For example, we have zoom window that we could draw a window, but the power tool is the zoom previous to quickly jump back to the last view you were looking at. We also have zoom extents. Below that, there are some advanced camera tools, your sections and planes all wrapped up nicely right here. And then lastly, you have some extension toolbars that come in the large tool set. You can remove them, but we never really take it to that level unless you absolutely want to. Let's look at the toolbars up top. We have our shadows toolbar, which is super handy. It allows you to quickly turn it on and off the shadows to speed up your workflow. Let's orbit around, zoom out, put the shadows on, and use the sliders to adjust the length and position of the shadows. As you model, having the shadows on takes a lot of processing power. So you can quickly shut them off here and go back to modeling or your presentation very quickly. Next we have the view toolbar. It has your standard isometric view, top view, front, right, back, and left. Super handy to quickly set up scenes. They represent your basic architectural views. It's also a super quick way as you're modeling, if you're really zoomed in on something, to get to another view of it and zoom out to get a good look at what you're doing. Next we have the quick styles toolbar, and we'll deep dive into styles again later in your tray. But this allows you to quickly turn on and off your materials and loaded JPEGs to go from your presentation scenes quickly into a workflow and have better, quicker performance. You can shut off all the colors to look at a white box model. If you need to see through things, you can go into wireframe mode. One of my personal favorites is the X-ray mode. I'm going to use the spacebar and grab this guy. I'm going to move him over. And let's say I want to move him by an endpoint I can't see. I could use that X-ray view to find that endpoint. And then shut it off when I want to go back to my presentation scene. Now I'll quickly look from the top, zoom extents, and I'm quickly in and out of parts of the model. I also like to keep the section toolbar open so I can quickly cut sections. With the section marker, I can toggle the actual section plane on and off. I can toggle the marker on and off. And this one is for the fill. And from the side, you could see I could see in the box, or I can give it a fill and make it look more like an architectural drawing. And we can quickly shut it off. You want to use all of these tools in conjunction with what's in the tray. So let's look at what's in the tray. Let's pin it open, and here's the most effective tools. Entity info up top. That gives you everything you need to know about the objects in your model, your material, your layer, maybe a component name, also whether or not it casts or receives shadows. Next we have layers, and we'll set those up in a future video. This is where you would create layers and using the entity info to assign those layers to objects. After that we have scenes. So let's look at the top, get a nice little crop view of it, and add a scene. And call it top view. Your shadow settings and styles can be assigned to each scene that you have. There's a large list of things that are updated when you update a scene. Styles, these are global styles. And what happens is you may have different views and scenes that have different styles applied, like a 2D plan view or a presentation view. We do have shadows again in the tray because it gives a little bit more control over the shadows, including the handy sun for shading option. We can also have control about the brightness without the shadows actually being on. And we also have the materials that we went over last lesson. These are the power tools that we like to use most. Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you like our tutorials, and you'll be notified when the next lesson becomes available.